like we started off with at the top of class, we're working on guard passing this week. Guard passing is one of the most difficult to master skill sets in jiu-jitsu. You don't really master anything in jiu-jitsu. You're constantly growing and improving. But guard passing in particular can be one of the most complicated things to learn. Guard passes in and of themselves are easy. The movements and the mechanics behind passing someone's guard is pretty straightforward, but the act of passing a good guard is very complicated, and that's why we practice guard passing a lot in our 101 program to get us very used to how to pass from the top. A lot of your time spent doing jiu-jitsu will be passing the guard because it's difficult to pass a good guard. But let's first start with our concept behind guard passing. Conceptually, guard passing is going to see us accessing a lever on our opponent's body to point their guard away from us so we can then drop down to box in their hips. Now, what we're going to work on this week is we're going to work on actually passing a very specific guard, and it's a guard that we were working on last week, and that will be the spider guard. We're going to be passing the spider guard this week, but we're actually just going to use some passes that we've seen before. We're just going to use them in a different context. So that drill that we were warming up with, so just a quick reminder, that drill that we were warming up with where the bottom person had the spider guard set up, top person counter gripping. The reason that we want to use the counter grip, especially with something like a spider guard, a powerful open guard like this, is because I need to get some form of lever control on my opponent. If I'm not grabbing him at all, he has total lever control over me, and I've not closed a loop to actually control his legs, so he can very easily shoot for triangles and omoplatas and all sorts of bad stuff. So grabbing onto the pant legs is a very easy way to stay in control of my opponent's guard. Now, we call that counter gripping because if he is close enough to grab me, I am close enough to grab him. Almost always going to be the case. Now, again, we were staying on our feet. I was making sure that my legs were far away. I don't want to keep my feet close to him because then that's going to allow him to get underneath me and start to control my legs. So I want to keep my feet at a distance to where his hands cannot easily access them. We were working on just moving and staying in base. So as my partner was shifting me around, just had to move and stay in a good athletic base. I'm not crossing my legs. I'm not bringing my feet close together. When I say athletic base, you think of any sport, the way that we stand is crucial, and it's almost always going to be around shoulder width of the feet, making sure that we're slight bend in the knees, slightly bent over, okay? That's our athletic base. Now, what we're going to work on first is going to be our leg drag from this position. Now, the problem with spider guard is that it's so difficult to get any form of control on their legs because they're basically standing on me. So we need to do a grip break first. I'm going to demonstrate the grip break and how it's going to lead into our leg drag. Let's check it out. Okay, so what we're doing is a leg drag, guys. Now, the first thing I need to do to leg drag my partner is to break the grips. Because if he's controlling both of my arms, it doesn't matter how much I move, he's going to stay attached to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to shift my body to one side. And notice how this makes one leg low and one leg high. If you look at Coach Seth's legs, one of his legs is close to the floor, the other leg is high up in the sky. I'm going to take my foot that's in between his knees, and I'm going to step on the bottom leg. I'm not doing this to inflict pain. I'm doing this to hold his leg still so I can remove my grip from it. So I'm going to step on his leg, and now I'm just going to go straight back. Boom. Okay, and that breaks this grip. Now from here, because I was counter gripping the beginning, I now have an easy leg drag setup. Now, for my leg drag, in case you're unfamiliar, I'm going to drag his heel from one hip to the other hip. As I do that, I'm going to move my body behind his leg. We can go for the collar, or you can just reach down and cup his hip. But remember, if we think about our concepts for passes, we're trying to access a lever, turn their guard away from us, and then box in their hips. Don't try to just run up and grab his head right now. You're going to give him too much space, he'll re-guard. So I want to drop down, stay close to his hips. See here, I'm keeping my head low. If my head is up, this is a lever he can start to push off of and create space. So I'm nice and low, head down. Now, let's look at a couple little details that can make or break this pass. First, if I don't counter grip, it's going to be hard for me to set up the pass because if I do break the grip here, I don't have a grip on his pant leg. I didn't counter grip. So now he can just start to remove the foot and set up something different. So we have to make sure we have a counter grip. Additionally, however, it's not wrong to step with the outside foot, okay, here. It's not wrong to step with the inside foot here. It really doesn't matter which foot you step with. The only thing that matters is that we don't cross our legs. So if I have my right foot close, see my legs, guys? They're crisscross right now. We never want this. Or the alternative would be here. I never want to cross my legs. So again, it doesn't matter which foot you step with necessarily. It really doesn't matter too much. I generally find it's just easier to step with the inside leg because that foot's kind of closer, right? If this foot's far away, it's kind of tricky to step in. The other foot, pretty simple to step. All right, but again, if you feel more comfortable stepping with the outside foot, that's totally fine. Just make sure we're not crossing our knees. But again, I step, and now to perform the grip break, I'm trying to do like a deadlift motion. So I'm trying to straight back and then drive my hips forward. Okay, he's gonna keep both the hooks engaged, guys. So I want the bottom player, keep both the hooks engaged. So he's gonna get the grips. Okay, so I get his knee low, step, break. He's going to keep this foot engaged to help regain the guard. This is gonna set up the leg drag. Let's be sure that this foot that's on his thigh steps out as I perform the leg drag. If I step this foot forward, now he can put me in single leg X, okay? So I wanna keep my foot starting from the thigh here. As I remove my foot, my knee can act like a placeholder as I perform my leg drag and drop down. Okay, let's rotate that. We'll see it from a different view. So again, my partner has grips on me. I counter grip. So I'm just moving. Maybe he's moving me, right? But as I feel one leg low, one leg high, I'm gonna step on the leg, break the grip, and now from here, I drag his heel to my other hip as I drop my body down. I'm trying to get down to his hips. Don't reach for his head right now. Get down nice and close to his hips. Notice how I'm still holding this pant leg. Okay, this is my lever I'm trying to control to point his guard away. So don't let go of this. Keep this tight. Okay, guys? Does anybody have any questions? I'll show it again from a couple different angles slowly. Okay, let's go from the front here. And then I'll show one more time. We haven't done this view yet. So he's got his spider guard set up. So again, I have a low leg and a high leg. I step on the low leg, break the grip as I drag and drop. Again, the leg doesn't really make a huge difference which foot you step with. Just be sure you're not crossing your legs. Okay, guys, any questions on that? Yes, Gabe? If I'm holding onto their arm, or if they're holding onto my arm? Yeah, that's actually not the end of the world. So what Gabe is asking is, if after I do the leg drag, is it okay that they are still holding onto the sleeve here? And the answer is yes, it's fine. This does give them a little bit of lever control, so they can control your rotation a little bit. But once I get past his knee, it should be pretty difficult for him to re-guard. Okay, so it's okay that they still have this grip in. Just be sure to drop your shoulder heavy so they can't really use it to start to set up and re-guard. Okay, guys, let's try this out. Take your time, nice and smooth. Let's go, 1, 2. Okay, so I just want to talk on about a couple little issues that I was noticing, some common errors, and then we'll do one more easy pass. We'll just do the torrenado from here instead. So first, some of the common errors that I was noticing as I was walking around is that while we were, using the whatever leg was comfortable, some of us were still kind of crossing the legs a little bit too much. So to make it easier, and by easier I mean more foolproof, using the outside leg will almost always be the easiest option because that's going to result in the least amount of leg crossing, okay? So what I mean is the outside leg, the leg furthest from him, because I'm going this way, using the outside leg will generally be the easiest and safest bet, okay? Again, I just wanted to mention this because I was seeing some people who, they would use the inside leg, which is fine. I like to use the inside leg, but they were coming here and they were crossing their legs a little bit too much, which again, against someone with a bad guard, it really doesn't matter, but that's a false positive. We don't want false positives in jiu-jitsu. I want to know it works because it works against people who are good. So again, if you forget which leg to use, generally the outside leg will be the safer bet just because it's less likely you'll cross your legs. Let's look at one more option now. It's gonna start with us circling the hand to the inside to get to a C-gripped position where I can start to do a torrenado. So again, from this spot here, maybe I'm having trouble choosing the side that I want to get his knee dropped low on. That's fine. So what we can do is we can do a similar pass starting here squared up. It'll see me first just swimming my hand to the inside. Once I swim this hand to the inside, and when I say swim, I mean circling underneath so that my hand is in between his knees now. Now this hand will start to circle out so I can find a C-grip position where my hand is like the letter C here, and I'm blocking his leg. Once I have this, you can grab onto the pant leg. That's totally cool. I would like to grab onto the pant leg personally, but it's not 100% necessary. You can just go hand on the thigh here. However, once I circle that hand in, I'm gonna start to move my body to the other side. So if my right hand is swimming in, I'm walking to my left side and I'm pushing my hips forward. And notice what this does. This starts to push his foot off of my other arm. Again, I'm here, I circle inside, walk to the other side, and I'm gonna push my hips forward. And look how that pushes his foot off my hips. Now once I'm here, I'm gonna drag and drop my shoulder right between his knee and his elbows. Remember, we're always trying to intersect that knee-elbow connection to get inside their guard and really stay strong and pass in a nice pressure-heavy position. So this is just our basic torrenado, like we've done before. Grab the pants, pull the knees, boom, drop that shoulder in. We're just starting with a little bit of hand movement in the beginning to disengage from spider guard. All right, let's look again. So everything's the same in the beginning, right? I'm still counter gripping. That way he doesn't have control over my arms. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna circle one hand in. Again, if you want to, if you can grab the pant leg, go for it. You might not be able to. He might have a very strong sleeve grip. But again, I go to the opposite side. So as I'm pushing his leg this way, I go to the other side. Don't stay here. You see how I'm not actually inducing any movement. He's gonna start to underhook my leg and start to attack leg entanglements. So once I circle, my hips push. So it's like I'm doing a boom, big old pelvic thrust. Push his feet away. And that's gonna really start to disrupt his angle of his guard. I want his knees, again, to turn away from me. So I'm doing that with my hips. I'm using my hips to drive his legs away. As soon as I go here, I'm just gonna pull his feet down south and drop my shoulder right down onto his stomach. Okay, let's see that from a different angle, guys. He has sleeve grips on me. I'm counter gripping here. I circle, move, and I drop down. In this situation, I didn't have the pant grip, so I just kind of turn it into a leg drag. That's fine. Or if I manage to circle in, I get the pant leg. Here's my torrenado style finish. Notice again, I'm dropping the shoulder closest to him, on him. The shoulder closest to him, on him. Boom, right here. Okay, I'll show slow motion. We'll do it from this perspective. So I circle the hand in, one. I push his leg one way. I go the other, drive the hips, drag and drop. Once I'm done, guys, I like to control both the legs until I can walk up to box his hips in. Okay, I'll show one more without talking. Let's take a look. Alrighty guys, so again, we're circling, disengaging from the guard, and then we boom, torrenado, drop down, and finish in the nice hip pinned position. Any questions on this one, guys? No, sir. Take your time, be purposeful with your movements, and then finish strong. Let's go, 1, 2. So does anybody have any questions on what we were working on tonight? Sir. We were really doing just 2 passes. We were just doing your leg drag and your bullfighter pass, or torrenado pass. These are the 2 easiest passes we do in jiu-jitsu. These are the passes we do with our 3- and 4-year-olds. The only difference is that we were just performing them in a different context. We were starting by disengaging from the spider guard and then systemizing how we were gonna pass. Okay, if I can start to get a low leg, I'll stomp break and then pass with a leg drag. Or if I can circle a hand in, I'll just attack the torrenado. So one quick note that I was noticing as I was walking around, very common. It's because it's an unusual movement, the hip bump when we're passing. It's very helpful, right? Again, it'll kind of help us deal with a common problem you'll encounter when you're going against someone who's actually resisting the guard pass, right? Again, if my partner's not really resisting, I can just kind of push his leg away very easily. If we get to this position, and coach said, just keep your foot glued to my elbow. Now let me just try to use my arm to push his foot off. Arm versus leg, leg always wins. Leg versus body, it's almost always gonna be the body, okay? So I'm putting my whole body into that hip bump. Again, for the purpose of getting his foot off of my elbow. I'm bumping my hips forward, and then I'm immediately pulling his legs back. Remember, guys, I'm not trying to, once I'm here, I'm not trying to drop forward. I wanna really pull his knees out from in between the two of us, right? Like I'm pulling a rug out from underneath him, and I'm dropping down. What we're doing is we're opening up the knee-elbow space, this gap between his knee and his elbow. I'm opening that up, and I'm inserting my body into it. That's how we solidify and consolidate the passes that we use. So working on disengaging from spider guard and then passing. Let's just take the last few minutes to play with both of these passes now. So top person, I want you to just start off here, moving around a little bit, side to side, and then whatever option you feel, work your pass. But I want you to do 3 times, okay? Whatever pass you'd like. 3 times, whatever pass you'd like, okay? Stay mobile, start to create connections between movements, make it smooth. Let's go, 1, 2.